Hello and welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Noodles, the noodle bowl that is currently recovering. Still recovering, guys. It's just taking a while. I apologise for not uploading yesterday. Just had a bad day. Voice isn't quite where it should be. But you guys already know that because you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's really difficult. My voice is needed in my job. It's needed in YouTube. It's needed for everything. You don't really realise what you're missing until it's gone. And not being able to talk made me feel pathetic, and very vulnerable because I just couldn't communicate to people. Seeing anime go up and just having to ignore it because I didn't want to hype myself up wanting to talk about it, then not being able to talk about it. So the best option was just to ignore it until I could talk. Once this is up, it will be a case of 86, then Moriarty the Patriot, and then we might be somewhere in the ballpark of being back on it. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It's a little hit and miss right now. There's episodes going up left, right, centre whenever I get a moment and my voice returns, trying to catch up on my backlog. As well, there is a Discord channel, even better place if you want to stay tuned on what exactly is going up, when it's going up, when I'm taking a day off, and just in general, you get notified whenever videos go up. Let's go back to what is turning out to be quite an amazing anime this season. Vivy Fluorite Ice Song Episode 4. The missing piece of our puzzle is given within the first minute. It's just great. I love the fact that this anime wants to start straight away with a plot twist. They play it like Toke is involved with Estella, but obviously there's twins. Two of them, Basil. Twins. Toke is definitely behind. I definitely linked Toke last week. I even said the man they zoomed in on. He is definitely Toke. He also looked like the guy that Vivy rescued. I'm 100%. I'm so proud of myself for calling that one. Vivy at first denies her identity. She ran into Momoko's sister, and I guess she wanted to maybe protect her. Maybe she just didn't want to come forward. And our fast-paced goodness begins. Estelle's missing bracelet is what actually stops Vivy from getting her head knocked in, because it literally alerts her split second something is wrong. Vivy also at this point ignores Vira's teddy bear. It's great to actually see more this episode. Vivy starts to go against him. She decides to help Momoko's sister to find somewhere safe. Almost uplifting moment to see her acting according to how she wants to act, not again to be programmed. Even though Vira's teddy bear is another AI, and Vivy follows AIs all throughout her life, this is also a moment where she's ignoring a programming to do what she physically wants to do, what she deems more important. I did think Estelle was initially dead, seeing her laying on the floor in the arms of Toke. Seemingly knew Estelle was walking about with the actual bracelet. Seeing this allows the audience to piece two and two together, and at the same time, Vivy and Vira's teddy also solved the riddle. There's two Estelles. Toke is definitely involved. A beautiful soundtrack accompanies Vivy's promise when she promises, "I will come back." It's also the final moment where she permits the teddy bear, "Okay, give me those combat skills." It definitely felt like a moment in the Matrix. I'm ready to go in. I'm going to, give me guns. I want lots of guns. It was that kind of moment. It was such a good moment. She is now determined to do her job, determined of what she must do. We have yet another eye appreciation moment. Of course we do, guys. This anime and its eyes. It's in the title, Eyes Song. The anime that Wit is showing us the world. We can draw eyes. It's an absolute beautiful moment of her powering up, her declaration, her determination. I'm going to send Momoko's sister back safe. She was unable to protect Momoko herself, but if this is the last thing she's going to do, she's going to protect at least one of them. In a way, it is still the same task that the teddy bear wants. Teddy bear wants the ship not to crash, and that means that people have to be saved. So it's quite nice to actually see that they are kind of in alignment with what they both need to do. It's just very odd. I want to mention that. It's very odd that even a teddy bear says, everything's happening 23 hours early. Stuff is starting to not add up. And this is what I initially was concerned about right back when I said, as soon as you change even one thing, it has a ripple effect. They initially changed a singular point. They've already changed one thing. It's a possibility that there's slow ripples from that small event 15 years ago that is perhaps speeding up the events now. Things are not happening as the teddy bear promised. As much as I want to put that down to the teddy bear does seem very shocked things are happening early. So at this point, I'm not 100% onto him. I don't blame him. I want to blame it on the butterfly effect. We get a green filter, and then we get story time. Who is Beth? Well, Beth is the twin sister to Estelle. And I really like the little story behind this because it's so touching, but it's also very beautiful. She is a sister as well to Vivy, who at this point is the older sister. But we've got two identical models with two different purposes. Estelle is the one who can move around freely, and we get the bird imagery to show this. Birds are the symbol of freedom. If you know, you know. Beth, however, had a different situation. She may have had a different hair colour, may have looked the same, but she couldn't move. Her purpose was to be woken up 6 months' time, convey and copy all the emotions, the experience that Estelle had gained within that time period. It was a test to see if they could copy across XP. So within even seconds of awakening, Beth would be able to already have that experience to hand. We get foreshadowing as the bird dies. The bird, seemingly trying to fly for freedom, ends up dead, hits the glass, kills itself in its bid for freedom. If you know, you know. And freedom lays bloodied and dead upon the floor. I long to shed tears. It's a moment where she wants to cry, but she can't. But it is indeed a very human emotion, showing us how advanced the AI in this anime really is. The sisters also vow to, whenever there's a sad moment, they will always counter it with a smile. Very similar to Vivy's goal, I must, sing with my heart. The idea that they're always going to be there smiling. So what happens to Beth? In a very Detroit Become Human moment, she is disposed of. She ends up in the AI junkyard. If you've ever played that game, you know Marcus ends up in the junkyard. They have to climb out of it. Oh wait, it's Marcus and it's also Chloe who end up both in the junkyard, and the level is escaping, and you see all the discarded AI which are half in use, still moving around a little bit. It's very, very creepy. Fantastic level. This time the evacuation starts, which is where I start to go, wait a minute, this is weird. There technically won't be any bloodshed apart from tokes, as they put it. And this is when I go, wait, wasn't the sunrise supposed to crash and kill everybody? But this time, we're actually seeing the only people who would die would be Toke, the people on board. When I got to go, wait, why would you kill yourselves? Their idea simply is to pilot the sunrise into the ocean. Note the ocean, where it can't kill anybody else, no collateral damage. There won't be any death but their own and the AIs on board, where it will be a wake-up call, as I also said, to the Earth, that you can't leave AI in charge of things. It's it's a bad idea, and it therefore would spur a anti-AI movement in a sense. So theoretically, if Vivy left right now, sunrise would technically only wipe out the AI. There would be no death this time, but it would technically result in the same. But something definitely isn't adding up. Everything this time is not as suggested. The teddy bear has told us what's going to happen, but it's not happening as he said. There's going to be no death toll this time. There's going to be a crash, apparently a crash into the ocean, which doesn't turn out to be the case. And it's happening a whole day ahead of schedule. But a big win for me. Last episode, I theorized this guy was definitely the boy that Vivy saved. He actually ends up saving Elizabeth, making me think that Vivy definitely had an impact on him. Even if it's small and he still hates AI and he's still trying to continue being Toke, he still saved an AI. He still took Beth under his wing. And he technically doesn't want to kill anybody. He just wants to sacrifice themselves for his goal. So he is removing all the innocence. But he does end up spotting Vivy. And again, he seems so angry. He always seems so angry when it comes to Vivy. Also, quick note, Beth suggests dropping the sunrise onto a city. She's the one who wants to cause the collateral damage there. That scar on his cheek. Sakuna, is that you? Are you actually a sorcerer? Are you just going to wake up and tell us that you're a sorcerer? Beth gets laid off, and this results in our next twist. She ends up knocking out the master and taking matters into her own hands, allowing Toke to escape. At this point, only AI would be harmed, but this is also in a result of seeing Vivy, and it's that same thing where changing an event ripples out. It ripples out with the butterfly effect. If he hadn't seen Vivy, he may not have suggested going, therefore he may not have laid off Beth. Vivy is causing other changes indirectly. Beth reveals her ID, pulls off the wig, becomes her own person once more. Let's break down the insane fight between Vivy and Beth. It is amazing. The music kicks in, quite reminiscent of a Hiroyuki Sawano score. It's not, but it definitely would do him proud. It is fast-paced. It is beautiful. Those moves are so fresh. They are very, very slick. It is just bam, bam, bam. It's really, really good. I love the fact that there's that split second of the virus telling her what to do and her willingly and quickly moving. It's just bam, yes, I've done it. Here I am, I'm moving. I love the moment as well when Vivy actually calls to him to aid her. She manages to get her in a bit of a stalemate, a headlock, and the teddy bear jumps on and tries to infect her. The corrupted Beth sounds so cool. They use a filter, obviously, to muck up the audio. I really like it. And we find out, essentially, Beth had no purpose. She was abandoned by her creators. But she was given a new purpose by Toke, the man who ends up restoring her and saving her. But it does make you wonder, because we technically see her being abandoned and then having her own consciousness, in a sense, to hate the fact she was abandoned and then obey a new master. And it also shows us that a AI technically can be repurposed. So she went from service to almost being a bodyguard. The violin and the strings kick in. It is an amazing climax moment where Beth ends up attacking her own sister and Vivy comes in to block it. I love that. And I also like the AI threat. I'll turn you into a calculator. I guess that's the worst thing for an AI, becoming a calculator. All you can do is add, subtract, and divide. The moment Beth sees the bracelet, she actually gives Vivy the second she needs, that split second of she kind of like hesitates, and that allows her to deliver one hell of a headbutt. And I love the addition of the metal sound to it, the adding to that funk, that actual impact when it hits. Fate once more doesn't add up. We are now falling onto a coastal city. The death toll at this point is going to be even greater. Estelle decides to sacrifice herself, who once started this little arc as our villain, our target, who is now our hero. She decides that she will detach the mass of the ship, breaking it into small pieces. Small pieces naturally get blown up and burnt up in our atmosphere, and that should hopefully reduce any chances of a big impact. She says is my true mission. But we also have time for a conversation whilst we're wasting time, so a tiny little sin there. The piano plays. She allows Vivy to go, but she does also interrupt Vivy when she's trying to tell her, I'm your sister, but she gets turned away for her own safety. This isn't Vivy's mission. The twists end once again. Beth comes in to save the mission. Somehow she remembers. I'm not quite sure how. Maybe the virus wiped her back to her original state. I'm not quite sure. But it allows us to reunite one last time. We have our famous sad last mission together. The twins destined to die together. But not before they decide to make us cry, hit the feels once more, where we have that beautiful song singing out to the credits, singing us out as the beauty of space is there to comfort us in the face of danger, which is what their job really is. Elizabeth actually singing us out and Estelle allowing us to break up the ship. It's a joint mission. It brings on those credits. What does it really mean to do something with your whole heart? Allowing Vivy this time to actually maybe have even a bit of an inkling of what the answer could be. The twins have definitely worked it out. Teddy, once again, he actually gets handed over to Momika's sister. So this means next time we see him, as I see in the preview, we're going back to Virus Cube. It's an amazing episode. Once again, always got to praise it for that fast pace. I love the pacing so much. The twists, the turns this episode, Loved it. I love the backstory, the sad, tragic backstory to the twins. Really like that little moment. The biggest thing I'm pulling at the moment is things aren't happening as they were intended. So every little change that Vivy now pulls seems to be affecting the singularity points that we arrive in. It would not surprise me if the next arc is completely different from what the virus teddy bear is expecting. We're starting to see a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and a lot of evidence in a sense of the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect, that the idea that a butterfly somewhere flapping its wings can cause a hurricane elsewhere. I love the addition of the links. So we've got Momika's sister. We've got this boy who was saved by Vivy coming back. He is now the head of Toke. Are we going to see him in a older, more gentlemanly form next episode as well? Keeping in those consistent links. Revisiting that song, bringing it back, is impactful. It's our soundtrack for the Estelle and Beth arc. Toke is still active at the end of this episode because they actually evacuate themselves. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is our guy, I am sure he has a name, I've missed it. Is he actually going to meet Vivy at some point? He seems quite angry, so it's a possibility if he does, it's not going to end well. But the music, the art, as always, a beautiful, beautiful, a stellar, if you get it, a stellar performance. So thank you guys so much. Thank you again for being supportive. I know I sound trash. It's great. I really want to talk to you about this anime because it's a beautiful anime and I'm very, very impressed. Take care. Make sure you're staying safe. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.